So, how you doing? This is my first time doing something like this. Like YouTube video-esque, like the kinds of videos that I want to start making where I'm just kind of talking about my life, my situation. I don't know, I guess a way to just express how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, the feelings that I'm experiencing, and like really trying to see if there's a way, because right now I don't know. So I hope I can continue to keep doing this just a little more consistent with it. Just a little, just kind of chatting, just talking, saying my piece, saying what I have to say. Yeah. Anyway, I know I said it a couple times, but yeah, today is the last day of the year 2024. And I let's just say 2024 has been a great year for me. It is the first year that I've really begun my walk with Christ. Truly, I've committed my life to Him, and it's the first year that yeah, I've begun my walk, and I have really changed for the better. I've changed so much. God has walked with me, has helped me grow, has helped me learn, has revealed so much to me, has encouraged me, has put me in uncomfortable situations where I have to deal with emotions and situations I don't want to, or before I would run from or not confront, because I am not a confrontational person. Really, I'm really not a confrontational person, but I am trying to grow to be more confrontational, because in not being confrontational, you kind of suppress your feelings, you kind of suppress who you are, and you kind of just allow a lot of things to happen to you um that don't deserve to happen to you, like, and you kind of are used to it because that's just all you've known, and I feel like that's all I've known. So when people do me wrong, when people do things that I don't like, or are acting ways that I don't appreciate or find disrespectful, or just not even disrespect, not even to that extent, but just things that I don't like or I don't want or appreciate, it's hard to really, yeah, just tell them, express that, make them feel a certain type of way. Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with people pleasing a little bit, just um allowing them to just continuing to put them as a priority over myself, like other people as a priority over myself, and their comfort over my own comfort. So because I know I am able to be uncomfortable in silence, but I don't know how other people will take it. I don't know how other people will react. So that's just something I don't want to, or for so long I didn't want to bring out of other people, like them being uncomfortable. Anyway, this is not what that's about. This is really about so yeah, in this walk with God over this past year, I've really been trying to find my purpose, and that has been a really tough journey, because one, I don't know what it looks like to have purpose in God. All I hear people talk about that all the time. Oh, this is my purpose. This is my purpose in the Lord, my purpose. People just talk about purpose, and or what God has called me to do. Things like that. And I'm just like, I was wondering, what is my purpose? Like, what has God called me to do? And this came on the back of, well, me getting saved and me following the Lord, me trying to figure out my purpose, all came on the back of me graduating college and moving back home. So it's like I had so many questions about what I should do with my life, where my life is headed, what career I should do, like what things I should do, like how I should act in ways that honor God, learning who I am, learning who God is, and learning who I am in Christ. And yeah, that hasn't been easy at all. So I've just been on this search for purpose, or what I need to do. But mostly, I just kind of wanted a job more than anything. I thought, no, I wanted a job as well, but I thought that was what would bring me my purpose. But more than anything, I just wanted to find my purpose. And I wanted it to align with what I wanted. I wanted it to make sense to me. I wanted it to be comfortable for me. And that is where the issues kind of changed, or that is where I really begun to begun to understand just different things about how I move, or how God moves, and like how that's different. So yeah, so over the past couple of months, I've really learned a lot more about my purpose. I've really learned more about how God works in me, and how um like kind of what purpose is and how it changes and things like that. So um yeah, so yeah, and it really happened by like speaking to more people, and actually communicating how I feel, and communicating my questions, and where I want to go, what I want to do, things like that. So yeah, in speaking with my pastor and other people, I learned that purpose changes. What God calls you to do in one season may not be the same as what He calls you to do in the next season. Um, yeah, so like your purpose can be one thing in one season, and in the next it can be something else. And then from that was the first real um, guidance that I feel like I got about purpose. And secondly, when I was speaking with my pastor, he kind of revealed to me that in this season, like, my purpose was myself. And I kind of added to that, like, my purpose was finding out who God is, and building the foundation of our relationship. Um, and that really opened my mind up and made so much sense. Because my pastor, he did prophesy over me, and he was like, God does not want me to get fixated on the career, but instead the vocation of the Lord. So not to get really fixated on what career path I need to choose, or what career I need to go into, but really understanding how to live out God's will, and um how to really understand your true mission on this earth as a Christian. And yeah, so then that was kind of like, I shouldn't really be focusing on the career, but more on my purpose again. And then, so one, I did then came to terms with my purpose being myself right now. And I feel like maybe that's why I've been held up without a job for 6 months now, almost 7 months. And yes, because so that's what the Lord is doing in me. He is showing me that my purpose now is myself, and growing my relationship with Him. because I've grown so much this year. I've really learned so much. I've experienced so much, as I mentioned before. And I've understood who God is, that God never leaves my side no matter what. And as long as I continue to draw closer to Him and continue to keep going to Him, my relationship is bound to change, and I am bound to change. And I'm noticing changes in myself. But it's like it's still hard to completely give yourself over to Him when me and people are so used to living for earthly things like I was before, like living for addictions, living for the rat race, living for your next high, things like that. And it's hard to really surrender to Him when it's hard for me to surrender to Him when that's been my life for as long as I can remember, literally. But yeah, so I felt like this year, or this second half of the year since June, has really been about my purpose has really been about myself and my relationship to God. And yeah, so this year has really been about myself and my relationship to God, and how I can continue to grow our relationship and grow in His word and in His name. So yeah, so anyway, so then yeah, so fast forward, this all happened in like November and like beginning of December, like. And then so I've really been trying to figure out like what is my purpose, like what does God want me to go in terms of career, because it's like, yes, my purpose right now is myself, but like, God, I can't be jobless forever, you feel me? And like, bro, this whole job search has been like, oh my goodness, it has really tested me to the max. And I have not won all the battles. I definitely have not won all the battles. It's been so draining emotionally, physically, like everything. It's been so draining. So draining. And, but, yeah. So I was kind of like trying to figure out what my purpose is in terms of career. And then the Lord revealed to me on the 28th, so on last Saturday, no, December 28th, He said to me, or He spoke through a sermon that I watched around Him. Again, this is like kind of crazy, so just stay with me. And it's kind of like a little bit of everywhere, so just stay with me. So He spoke to me first through that sermon, and it was around the birth of Jesus, and um and around the birth of Jesus, and the angel Gabriel going to Mary and telling her that she will birth Jesus and she will be the one to do it, and her really just staying in the right posture, the right heart posture to do it and accept what the Lord has given her. So then, and there was also a really important part of that. Someone in Mary's life, I'm not really sure who it was also 6 months pregnant at the time. And at that time, like, this was something that Mary has never done. But, and so obviously there comes like fears and of just not knowing the unknown, and yeah, just the unknown and what could possibly happen and things like that, and just not having control, like being out of control of your situation. But God gave her a reference, someone in her life as a reference. And yeah, stay with me. So remember the reference thing. So then after that, I really sat down with myself because a friend of mine, she gave me this the day I was talking about what my purpose was, and when I explained, those people told me that my purpose changes that day. Or yeah, so I was talking to that friend, and then a couple days after, she sent me this article about like finding your purpose, and I didn't read it for a couple weeks. So yeah, that was probably like weeks ago, and I didn't read it, and I decided the 28th I'm gonna read it. And it was kind of just telling me like what your purpose would feel like things that like you're passionate about, or like you can't like live without or do, or things like that. And just as I'm reading it, I'm just getting more and more clarity about my purpose, because throughout this whole year, I've been saying to myself, like, I want to be a director. Like, I've been saying that, and then as the year has progressed, I told more and more people. Like, I told my sister, I told some people at my church. I've been telling them I want to be a director, and I want to direct. I want to make movies. I want to make films. So, so, um, yeah, um, and then that just same came so clear to me, and I really was realizing that the only reason why I haven't actually pursued it so far is out of fear. One, the fear of, because as the fear that comes with, I guess, that role, and not having a secure like role, or one, not even like a secure role that makes a lot of money, because I come from a Haitian household, and my mother has always told me she wants me to she had high aspirations for me and my sister, obviously, and we were really smart, so it made sense. She wanted us to be this and that. She wanted to make us to make so much money. She didn't want us to struggle. And I honestly understand, as a parent, you don't want any of those things for your children. You don't want your children to struggle. You don't want your children to go through hardships financially, or you don't, because she struggled through that, and she's still struggling through that. 3 jobs she's working, and she's worked 3 jobs for a long time. And it's like she doesn't want the same thing for her children. She wants us to go into something that makes money. And yes, and obviously that was ingrained in me subconsciously. That is why I chose to do um computer science in school. That's not why I chose to do it, but like that was also another incentive to it, because I'm like, I know, like, when I get out of college, I have a job secured, a 6-figure job secured. Like, so I was like, there's no worry. And yeah, so there would be no worry financially. So it was just that fear that drove me away from the idea, that just really shut out the idea of, no, you're not gonna go into that field, or you're not gonna go into like that media field, because that has no money in it, or you're not gonna struggle. You're gonna be a man who with financial needs and things like that, or who meets. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, another fear that I had is just the fear that I am not good enough, I guess, or I am not skilled enough to do that, or to do what I want, or to be a director, to be a producer, to do those things. But um yeah, cuz being on Instagram, and being a photographer on Instagram, and seeing just all those people posting like all their work and things like that, and it's like you obviously compare. You compare yourself to them. You compare yourself to your friends who are creatives. You compare yourself to yeah, like people high, like who have already like refined their skills, who have done hours and hours of work, continuously crafting, continuously putting themselves out there, continuously working nonstop. But it's just like you don't compare, especially me, especially right now. I don't compare right now, and that has always been a fear of mine. That has always stayed in my mind, the fear of comparison, the fear of not being enough, the fear of not being successful. That has always been a fear of mine. The fear of failure, that has always been a fear of mine. That I'm not going to be as good as I think, that I'm not going to be that good. And yeah, and yeah, that's a real, like, big, big, big problem of mine, or fear of mine. But yeah, I just have like a really bad anxiety around that. But anyway, yeah, so though that was another fear that's held me back from this. And I feel like there's one more. Financial, feeling like I'm not enough. And yeah, I feel like those were the two main ones that really stuck out to me. And those are really big issues I deal with. So you can probably see why I just didn't really entertain it that much. Or I always was like, yeah, this videography, photography, yeah, that's just a side thing. And I just kept it as a side thing. For years, I didn't even touch it. For years, I wouldn't even post. I wouldn't even create. I wouldn't even ideate. I wouldn't do anything. I would just kind of be stuck and just be a little sad because I have not created, and I feel like people were getting a lot better than me. Yeah. And yeah, another issue that I've had that I've really grown to learn is that I don't like to do things that I'm not good at. So, so when I knew, like, because even as a photographer, yes, it took work, but it was kind of really a lot of intuitiveness, or me getting it quickly. I'm a quick learner, so like if I can't do it quickly, or if I can't learn quickly, or if it takes a lot of work, or like tons and tons of hours, I probably won't do it for the most part. I've grown a little more out of that. I've obviously been able to identify it and kind of fight those thoughts and demons and things like that, but it's still a problem I deal with to this day. But yeah, so the God revealed that to me, and I was bitter. Like, I was happy, but also like those fears didn't go anywhere just because God revealed those to me. Like, and it's only been 3 days, and right now I just feel so like overwhelmed. I feel so flustered. My head is just like, what the f do I do? No, my head is just like, or kind of where I'm at is like, no way the Lord just said that to me. No way he just did. No way, no way, no way, no way, no way. No way. No way. But it's like, with this career, I have to trust in the Lord. He's forcing me to. I have no other option. Or I will let these fears eat me alive, and I will never be able to make any progress. It's like, bro, like, it's tough. I feel such a weight on me right now. Like, I feel such a weight. All I want to do is just I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to feel this. But this comes with walking with the Lord. Feelings of uneasy, uncomfortable. Like, I feel shitty. Like, I feel shitty. I feel shook. I feel so scared out of my mind. But I have to trust him, or else I will go crazy, or else I will lose my mind, literally. And I will look like a fool. I will look like a fool. And the third point is that I am a computer science major. And it would just like, I'll look like a fool. Everyone's like, wait, Ralph, didn't you do computer science? Aren't you supposed to be like a coder? Things like that. How did you just go into media like this? How did you just transition into media? And you just ditched your whole degree. Like, I will look like a fool. But I will say, I don't know exactly where the Lord is bringing me, to what job. I don't know if He's bringing me to a PA. I don't know if He's bringing me to like something more on the tech side of media still, where I can kind of, I don't know, where I can kind of leverage both skills. But like, right now, because there's so much unknown, I am shook. I am literally shook out of my mind. I am shook out of my mind. But this is back to the first point that I mentioned about the sermon that I watched and the reference. So, a couple months back, maybe when I first graduated in the month of June, a friend of a friend who lives in DC, but I also know the person, so they reached out to me. They who lives in DC, they were like, "Oh, Ralph, there's this perfect job for you in media production, or a media, I forgot what it was, a video production manager." And I'm looking at the description, I'm looking at everything, and I'm like, yo, this looks really cool. This looks like a perfect job for me, low key. um and then, yeah, but I was just really on the fence about it because the Lord told me I need to be in Boston for right now, at least. I need to be home. So I was just like, I don't know if I can do that. And also, I was still like thinking I'm going to be in something in the tech field. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me. So, but like, I did still show a little interest, and excuse me, sorry. Basically, she was like, yeah, when I kind of just I texted her a question about it, and she just gave me this whole paragraph. She was just like, yeah, this company is really good. Like, I feel like you would really be a good fit on the media team or on like the production team. And like, the manager is really cool. He's really chill. And like she said verbatim, there's not I'm 90% sure that we will have a space for you, like in a position for you. And that, and like when I read it that time, I don't know how I really reacted because I don't remember back in June. But then when, because like after I watched that sermon, and then after I did the purpose thing, and I was really like, oh, it was kind of starting to make sense. I did a little bit of reflecting, like the media production thing made sense. I went back to that text that she sent me from then, because I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what brought me back to it. I just went back to that text, and then I read that part, like, of the 90% sure that you will, that there will be a space for you. And I'm just like, this is the reference that the Lord is talking about. The Lord can do that. Like, I'm thinking that, what job is there for me? Like, the job market in tech has been so bad, I haven't even been able to find a job. And I'm like, what job will I find in media? I'm not even good enough. But it's the fact that there is a 90% chance that there is a role for you at this company in the field that you want to work in. The God did that for me once. He did that. But I'm realizing, why would you do that knowing I can't take the job? So I didn't take it because obviously God told me to be here. I'm not going to DC. So God used that as a reference for me to cling to now in my fears. In like, how am I about to find this job? God did that once. He can do it again. He can do it again. And right now, I'm shaking in my boots, but that is the thing that I'm clinging to. That reference is what I'm clinging to, knowing that my God can do it again. And he can do it 10 times better this time. But the fear is still, the uncomfortableness is still there. It's still there. It's going to prevail. It's not going to prevail, but it's going to remain. Feel those feelings of those negative feelings and fears. Yes, they you can feel that, and I'm feeling that right now. But God will make a way. He will make a way. I know that for a fact. He will make a way. He will make a way. And I'm scared on my mind right now. But I'm hoping God makes a way. All I need is the faith of a mustard seed. And I can move. Yeah, so I'm signing out. Thank y'all.